friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and I'm glad you could be here with me today. I'm sharing my project for the latest challenge at the Frilly and Funky blog, which is sponsored by the Funky Junkie Boutique. This is the 1st of August, and when Caesar Augustus was emperor of Rome, he said, "You gave me a city of brick, I'm leaving you with a city of marble, columns, and arches." So that is the theme for our challenge. It's columns, marble, and arches. I had to dig deep on this one, guys, but I finally remembered that I had a Holtz Cabinet Card Die in my stash. So I created this very dimensional shaker top triptych, which is a 3-paneled card. So I'll show you very quickly the supplies I used to create this. I started with the Holtz vintage cabinet card, and this is a 2-part. There's the basic cabinet, and then there's the insert that goes in here that cuts out the arch. And the way I did this, just so that, because I wanted this to be hooked together, so I folded my cardstock in half, and then when I placed it in my die, I did it so that the fold was just to the right of the cutting blade. And then I ran it through, and that way it stayed hinged together. So I was able to create this multi-panel card. So that's that. And then to create the window in my shaker, I added the insert, die cut, centered it, die cut clear cardstock, and created the arched window. So just very quickly, I wanted to tell you how I did that. So let's take a look at this. This is made with Stamperia Blue Stars scrapbooking, and you can get this at the Funky Junkie Boutique. The reason I chose this is that it's already marbled. They had already done all the hard work for me of marbling this paper, and it is just gorgeous. I love the theme of this. I love the colors. Blue is my favorite color. So that is the paper that I used. Then I added Little Birdie Flowers in Rosalind Gray, which has a wonderful blue undertone, and Daniela Cloud Cover, this sweet little cluster, and then Beaded Micro Roses in gray. And then I also used some Holtz stencils and Distress Oxide in Faded Jeans, and then Frayed Burlap. And then I also used Seth Apter Baked Texture. I used the Chunky Rust, the Ancient Amber, the Patina Oxide, and the Vintage Beeswax. And I also used Holtz Resist Spray, which, if you can see the background, which a lot of it got covered up with the card, but you can see these wonderful little speckles of embossing in there, and that's what the Resist spray does. So here's the cover. I've got the roses. I created custom dyed shabby seam binding, and then this is a wonderful metal embellishment that I treated. That's what this vintage patina, vintage oxide baked texture does. This is a button and a metal filigree piece from the Funky Junkie Boutique, and it adds that wonderful aged patina that we all love so much. This is a Holtz Muse token, and it just says create, and it's tied on with this little hinge clip, which I also treated with the vintage patina, and that holds this little triptych closed. And as I said, it is a shaker. I love shaker cards. So this opens like this, and then it opens like this. This is what makes it a triptych, and this will actually stand up. So the first little panel, I used a Graphic 45 square tag and clock die just to cut out this lacy frame from a pewter cardstock, and then just fussy cut these elements from the collection. This is from the Holtz Snippets Ephemera. This is a key from the Funky Junkie Boutique, and I treated that with the baked texture Chunky Rust. Isn't that cool? It is so easy to use. I just used, here it is, Chunky Rust. I just hit this with Versamark embossing ink, sprinkled the baked texture over it, and heat embossed it. Boom, done. So that's pretty awesome. So this is the first panel. Just like the butterfly, I will awaken in my own time. And then over here on the left, I've created a little booklet. I had to keep this kind of flat or it wouldn't close. This is a Tim Holtz buckle held in with one of his little vintage brads. This opens out and it says, kindness can change the world. And I fussy cut a little butterfly there to cover the legs of the brad. This is a little rusty heart that you can buy at the Funky Junky Boutique, and I also treated this with the vintage oxide and then wrapped it with burlap string. So just simple, but very sweet. Then this opens out like this. On the right hand side, here's another one of these wonderful little art fairies. This is a butterfly embellishment that you can get at the Funky Junky, and again, I treated it with the vintage oxide and then just adhered my fussy cut little fairy over the top of that. And then this opens out. Here's another sweet little fairy, and I've dressed it up a little bit with some snippets from the Tim Holtz ephemera pack. This heart I treated with the chunky rust. Can you see how cool that is? I love that. And then it's that heart of gold and stardust soul that make you beautiful. And then in the center, kindness can change the world. Here's another one of those filigree metal pieces. And then these I fussy cut and treated with the vintage beeswax baked texture. And it really looks like they've been treated with encaustic wax. It's a very cool, very, very cool. And I also die cut another frame just to fill up this page. So that's basically it. It's a really sweet, really simple project. Lots of fun. I hope you'll play along. I'm going to have some still shots showing you how I put the base together for the triptych. So hang around for that, and then I will link in the description below to my blog post where you will find the complete supply list. So don't go away. I'm going to be back with, it's just a written tutorial, and you can take a look at that. But thank you for joining me. I'm Kathy Clement, and I'm going to go down.